Nice. Oh, there we go. My Zoom is a little slow in responding to what I want it to do. All right, we are talking about sustainability. And again, I will leave time at the end for you to work on your project, but we're going to go ahead and try to go forward with the unit. So in Canvas, let's look at the agents of change. Last class, we looked at the three pillars, and most of you did a really good job. Let me go back and pop up on that for a second. While we're waiting for folks to come in. See, it's very slow. And you know I want to go past that. All right, so you were supposed to tell me about um, the economic responsibilities, environmental responsibility, and social responsibilities that we as a people have in sustaining our environment. And economic most definitely deals with the fact that it costs money to do all the things that we need to do to sustain the environment in order to create better ways of doing what we need to. Ooh, I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Forgot to turn my phone off. Say what? Just need 5 minutes. Okay, hold on. All right, wait. I told him. Okay, can you call me back on that? As good or bad? Okay. Okay. I'll call you back. Yep. All right, sorry about that. All right, admitting people. So we were looking at the three pillars. So there was a summit, and occasionally we have these world meetings where they come up with an idea of how we as a planet, because if we don't all get together, it's not good that the United States is doing it, another part of the world is not doing it. Everybody has to get on board with what we need to do to sustain the planet. So they have summits from time to time where they get together and figure out um, what we need to do. And so these were the 3 points that they came up with. And we had added political, because down here at the bottom, they added political, because a lot of times it's politics, and there's that much we can see going on right now. If the politicians don't get on board, like we have a lot of politicians that don't believe that there is global warming. Um, One of my favorite movies, uh, Day After Tomorrow, where the whole planet got a recent ice age, and they kept trying to warn them that it was not something that was going to happen in 20 years. It was something that was going to happen in the next couple of days, and they kept brushing them off until it actually happened. And then they had to recover from the events of half the planet freezing over. So we have a lot of economics, a lot of things that need to be done socially. We as a people need to develop different social habits in order to save our planet and be aware of how to protect our environments. All of those are important things as far as saving the planet. And I think we got to the point where this thing didn't work. Yeah, that didn't work. All right. So that brings us to, and I think everybody who's going to be in today is in. All right. This is the worksheet on the bottom. Um, okay, hold on. Let me answer that question real quick. And just so that you all don't do what you don't need to do. All right. The project. All right. The whole project is so if you're and asking someone is asking how much is the project. The whole project, this when it says worksheet, that's just the instruction page here. So you're going to fill this, you're going to fill in all these questions. And like I said, you can do each question, each part as a slide. So the whole thing is worth 100 points. So you can do this as a slide. Part one, answer those questions. Part two, again, this should be set up like a chart with box columns and boxes that you add information to. Part three can be another slide by itself. Part four, the same. And again, it says choose one environmental issue. So you need to choose the issue first, say what it is, and then answer these questions based on the issue you've chosen. And then you're going to create a poster or an infographic or a slide, just a short slide that is a poster or an infographic. So you're not trying to do all of these things. You pick one thing to do. And I suggest to be the first one of the first three and not the last two. Not asking you to go on social media, not asking you to create a video, but just a slide presentation. So you're doing yours in the slide presentation anyway. Let your poster be your slide. It doesn't have to be more than one slide. And let it be, and it should contain information. It should be an infographic presentation um, based on the topic that you have decided to on the issue. Okay, so your number 5 goes with your number 4. Whatever you chose, that's what you should be doing your um, poster presentation about. So you need to submit. It all counts as one grade, yes. So like I said, going back to this, okay, it all counts as one grade, yes. Okay. Anybody else have a question about this before I go on? All right, and again, it's not due until the end of the month, so take your time. It won't be due until we finish the unit. So it's due April 30th, which is 2 Thursdays from now. Okay. And again, next Wednesday is Earth Day, and we'll have a special little activity for Earth Day as well. All right. Any other questions about the project? And again, note each section is worth 20 points. So be aware that this is not a one and done. If you are using Chat GPT, put it in your own words. Use it to get your information, but don't copy and paste. And references, I thought yeah, see, also include references. So I it changed the worksheet a little for these last two. I changed the worksheet. This was all 20 points. Effort and neatness is now 10, and your references is 10 points. So wherever you get your information from, and it shouldn't be Chat GPT, you should actually go to a website that has information. I know sometimes when you're working in school, some of these places are blocked, and that's why you resort to Chat GPT, and that's fine. But if that's where you're getting it from, say that. Okay, give a reference point. And if you're getting it from Chat GPT, read it, translate it into your own words. All right. And again, any other questions about the project? All right. Okay. So we were back on. Mm, Actually, it's so much easier to do it this way. Progress reports go out next week. Please make sure you get caught up on all of your missing assignments if you have any. All right, so we are on agents of change. All right, one task of the environmental, so let's say that somebody comes. One task of environmental economics is to develop, and I didn't put that on, is to develop methods of evaluating intangibles that prove good guidelines and easy to understand and are quantitatively credible. Not an easy goal, so watch this presentation. All right. In other words, we have to put it in terms that everybody understands and everybody will want to get on board to do it.
In the mid-1990s, the U.S. spent about $115 billion a year, which is 2% of the nation's gross national product, on pollution. Present costs are closer to $170 billion to treat pollution. This includes the amount spent by
Now I'm going to pause this. This was probably put together maybe more than 5 years ago. So it's probably more than that now.
consumers, corporations, and government. This total is much greater than the $6 billion budget of the Environmental Protection Agency. $170 billion spent by the U.S. on average is much greater than $6 billion with the set budget. Even though it's costly, cleaning our environment has economic benefits. Populations subject to high levels of certain pollutants have lower average life expectancies. Particulate air population in U.S. cities contributes to 60,000 deaths, and 2% to 9% of total mortality in cities is associated with particulate air pollution. By the year 2010, amendments to the Clean Air Act, passed by Congress in 1990, would prevent 23,000 premature deaths, 1.7 million asthma attacks, and 60,000 plus hospital admissions due to respiratory problems. The value of these benefits from these amendments was estimated to be $110 billion in 2010, while the costs were estimated at $27 billion. These are from those amendments alone.
All right, so that's just to give you some idea of how much it actually costs. And in order to get people to get in line with what's the right thing to do, you have to create laws. So there's a lot of the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, that is responsible for putting these practices in place, and this one isn't working either. Look at that.
Environmental policy is composed of laws, regulations, and rules that are related to an environmental problem and are implemented and enforced by one or more government agencies. In democratic societies, public policies typically go through a four-part formulation cycle. Number 1, recognition. Recognize that there is a problem and specifically identify it. Number 2, formulation. Identify the source of the problem and develop a working plan to resolve it. Number 3, implementation. Put the plan into action. Number 4, control. Continuously monitor the progress of the implemented plan and make revisions as they are needed.
Okay. So here are all of the steps all of the agencies. So there's several agencies that they were put in place to um, ensure that ensure that somebody's responsible for making sure that you follow the law. So we have the Department of Health and Human Services. You have the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, and this is the areas that they are responsible for. Department of Justice for the laws, environmental litigation. The Department of the Interior handles endangered species and minerals and things that you're trying to go mine up. Agriculture, soil conservation. Department of Defense and Civil Works construction. I don't know what they're doing because some of these folks, I mean, I don't know about where you are, but they are cutting down the trees and building up apartment complexes everywhere. So I think they've fallen down on that one. Nuclear Regulation Committee, licensing and regulating nuclear energy, because while nuclear energy is clean, you have to regulate it carefully because of disposal of waste is radioactive. So that has to be monitored. Uh, the State Department, the Commerce Department, the Ocean and Atmosphere, Department of Labor, Department of Housing and Urban Development, Transportation and Energy, and the Tennessee Valley Authority. All of these agencies are working together, and this is the federal government, working together to make sure that we um, have policies. Somebody's got to be responsible for making sure that we are being globally responsible for what we're doing. And then we have all these other acts. So again, a subdivision now. Environmentally, they've created laws. So this one up here was public policy and economics. Neighborhood when you enter. Yeah, there's always, every time you turn around, a lot is being cleared and some houses are going to be houses and townhouses and all kinds of things going up. All right, now we have the Clean Water Act. I think I had you all. No, I didn't have you doing that. That was my other class. I'm going to let you all work on. You're working on one project now, but there was a debate with the Chattahoochee River. And the Chattahoochee River Basin is where you all get your water from as well. But we have two other neighboring states that also get our water from there. And Georgia was kind of hogging all the water. So we have to watch how we use the water.
On October 18, 1972, Congress passed the Clean Water Act. Waterkeeper organizations across the world are honoring the 40th anniversary. This bold legislation, put forward by visionaries in Congress, returned control of our nation's waterways to the citizens of the United States as part of the public trust. Before we began to grapple with regulating water quality, some rivers were so polluted that their waters could burn. The Cuyahoga River in Ohio caught fire more than a dozen times from the 1860s to the 1960s. Something was wrong. Water was not providing life, it was killing it. Congress's 1972 goal was to have eliminated all discharges of pollutants into the nation's navigable waters by 1985. Almost 2 decades later, in 2002, the Environmental Protection Agency mournfully acknowledged that the water quality in many parts of the country was in steady decline. Pollution in our waters comes from many forms and from many sources. Discharge from industrial plants, sewage treatment facilities, as well as runoff from our streets and backyards can have a negative impact on our water quality. Pollution in our great nation is diverse. It includes disease-causing pathogens such as bacteria and viruses, as well as carcinogenic chemicals such as benzene, dioxin, PCBs, and trichloroethylene. Siltation is also a major pollutant in many southeastern streams and springs. The mission of nonprofit Tennessee Riverkeeper is to protect the Tennessee River and its tributaries by enforcing environmental laws like the Clean Water Act and others, and educating the public. The organization is a proud member of Waterkeeper Alliance, aligned with over 200 similar waterkeepers around the world. Tennessee Riverkeeper and the Waterkeepers will keep fighting for the basic right to swimmable, drinkable, and fishable waterways.
All right, so I want you to work on this while I work on attendance. Another there. There you go. I don't think this is working right, but you can read through that. Read through. Know before you go. Yeah, this one is not working right either, but at least read it over. So look at this down here, recognize the problem, formulate a plan, implement the plan, evaluate the plan. Those are the steps that you need to keep in mind, and then go on to, like I said, I'm gonna stop to do attendance and I'll be right back. But go ahead and go on to the next one as well. There's our pillars again. So, 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I have a question. Like I said, I was going to ask you about, yes, we are in third period. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Sometimes attendance is an interesting thing. All right. Whoops. Every once in a while, try to get an assignment for you that brings the politics close to home. And, so I have a question for you about, like I said, the river rights. And I just realized I spelled something wrong, so I'm going to fix that before I. Okay, there we go. So I have a question for you. I'll just put it in your list of things to do. All right, so this is a now question. So if you're working on your project, stop working on that and answer this question first, because this one has a sooner due date, like I said, till the end of the month. All right, so the question is, and you should see this question on your homepage. Let me make sure it is there. So you might have to refresh to see it. It's called the Chattahoochee River Wars. Chattahoochee River Wars. Okay. All right. So you want to look up the Chattahoochee River Wars as a title. You want to know which state, and I think I already told you, which states are involved. What is the problem? What is the war all about? And has it been resolved? Because this has been going on for a little while. So say when it started, when the issue started, which states are involved, what exactly are they disputing about, and has any legislation come about to resolve this issue? All right, as far as the project is, you can do it on your own time. I said I was going to give times on Thursday. I see you all on Thursdays. And I might just do it on Wednesdays instead of Thursdays. But I will give you class time, but not today. Not today, not today, not today. So it's not exactly on your own, but like we worked on it on Thursday. So on Thursday, again, I'll give some more time for you to work on your project. So again, if you answer this question and you have time after that you answer this question, then yes, you can go back and work on your project. All right, everybody got that? So stop what you're doing. This is a now subject. We are going to keep going through the module. So the project isn't due until, like I said, the end of the month. So you can put that on pause and um, work on this question today. So yes, Georgia is one of the states involved in this. And the Chattahoochee River is where you get your water supply from. We have what we call watersheds, and yours is the Chattahoochee watershed. All right, so again, please use class time for classwork. If you are here today, you should be working on this question so that you're not falling behind. This question is a short question. You can look it up, get an answer quickly, and then you can move on to have free time to work on your project if you wish, but answer this question first. Make sure you give us a full statement for each of the three questions. On Wednesday, I have another question for you in regards to the question you had in global impact today. I see a lot of people idle. Again, please use class time to do classwork. I still have a couple of people who haven't done their carbon footprint. If you haven't done it, remember that you're supposed to do 2 screenshots, 2, and then answer the question. So you want, because the question actually goes with the summary page. So you have the picture, which that shows how many Earths you've used. And then after you've looked at the second page, then you can answer the question as to what you can do better. I bet you. Right here. All right, folks, it is time to go. All right, so I see you on Wednesday. I will briefly touch on your answer to this question, and I have another question for you on Wednesday. So you all have a great rest of your day.